Good morning and welcome. We are delighted that you have decided to join us today for our Sunday morning celebration service right here at Unity of Citrus County. We invite you to get settled in. Our service is about to begin in just a few moments. It is our sincere prayer that the music, the meditation, and the message will uplift you and inspire you to become the light of the world that you have come here to be. We invite you to come and visit us in person. We would love to meet you. And we invite you to also visit our website at www.unityofcitrus.org. Have a blessed day.
Okay.
I can feel it, I can feel it, oh your presence, oh your presence, I can feel it, I can feel it, oh your presence. Oh, your presence, it is great, it is good, it is perfect. Oh, your presence, oh, your presence, it is great, it is good, it is holy.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Gary Ammerman, licensed Unity teacher. Oh, your presence. You know, the slides that you saw there today were from my walk across Spain on the El Camino to Santiago. And it's just like, oh, it just brought back such wonderful memories. So again, welcome and thank you for being here with us today. We're so glad that you came and joined us here today. If you would, just turn to the people on each side of you, behind you. Just say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Good, thank you. And then let's give a big wave to our virtual friends on Facebook and YouTube and wish them that they were joining us here today and were in our presence. So thank you very much. So let's just take a moment here to kind of to get into our space here, our spiritual space, and let's just gently close our eyes and let's just take a nice deep breath in and then release it, and then release it. You know, and as you take in the next breath, let it fill your lungs, let it fill with all the beauty that surrounds us, with all of the friendship that surrounds us, all the joy and happiness, and let that fill up into your mind as this beautiful bright light, and let that light grow as you take each breath. And know that is you, and take that down into your heart space. Just go that 18 inches down into your heart space, and let that fill your heart with the light of who you are, and know that the indwelling Spirit allows you each and every day to create yourself, release those things that are not to our best, and let us be reborn and refreshed in each and every day, and create that world that is us. And as we gather here today in the presence, just know that we are always surrounded by all that is. Know that we are loved. We receive our happiness, joy, by the presence. So let us say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Let's do our affirmation of oneness together, please. There is one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God the good, all-powerful, all-knowing, everywhere present, right here, right now. God, thank you, thank you. The daily word is a wonderful one today, though. The word is inner peace. And the affirmation says, I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. Let's say that together. I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace in the presence. You notice that I have large print. I know that none of you all don't need that, but I do. Peace, and still my arm isn't long enough. Peace lives in my heart, at the place within me where all appearances of separation dissolve. I feel only peace, only God, only oneness. This peace is always mine, part of my divine inheritance. I carry it with me through every experience, every moment of the day. Nothing can destroy or even disturb my peace when I invite the divine presence, the Christ of my being, to be my constant guide. A passing thought of fear, worry, or angry is a reminder to just breathe, to release negative energy, to embrace peace. I feel renewed when I meditate. Enjoy a walk in a peaceful garden, or take a moment to appreciate natural beauty wherever I find it. My indwelling peace manifests all around me as beauty, harmony, and bliss. And from Psalms 29, verse 11, may the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. And so it is. Thank you.
Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Life unfolds with grace and ease, endless possibilities. They're everywhere, they've always been, when I choose to let them in. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. I've outgrown those smaller dreams, the way they used to limit me. I make the space, invite love in, magic fills my life again. Shoo, 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 shoo. There's something bigger calling me to follow where my passion leads. I trust that flow, don't need to know. I dance into the great unknown. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let
There. The paths we walk, hiking the El Camino. If you have any information or knowledge of the Camino, raise your hand. Okay, pretty good spread of people there. Good. Well, what the heck is the Camino? You might be asking. So it's a road, it's a path. This is the Camino. It's a series of trails, paths, hikes, whatever you want to call it, that crisscross across Europe, France, Portugal, and end up in Spain at a town or village, city called Santiago de Compostela. I had the adventure of a lifetime on this path called the French Way. This particular one is called the French Way. And it's a spiritual path. And I remember the reaction that I received when I told my brother that I was going to walk this. And he's 2 years older than I, and he's totally different than me. He's very down to earth. He's not normal and regular. And I told him that I was going to walk the Camino in Spain. This was 4 years ago, and I had just turned 67 years old. Yes, I am that old. I know I look 39, but no. First, my brother, I remember him saying, "Well, what is that?" You know, and obviously you all are smarter than he is because many of you knew who it was. So, which I am sure, some of you that don't know at this moment saying, "Well, what is it?" I gave him a brief explanation that the El Camino was this 500-mile spiritual walk across northern Spain that went from France through Spain to the tomb of St. James in Santiago de Compostela, 500 miles. I remember sitting there kind of in silence for a second, and I could hear my brother thinking, And then after I explained it, it just became quieter. And finally he said, "Should someone your age be doing that?" Well, I was. So I set out on this adventure, and it became very special to me. This hike became very special to me. My own self-discovery as I walked this path was very personal. What I learned about myself from this walk, can never be duplicated, nor can I really ever entirely explain the spiritual significance of that walk on the Camino. So let me share my story with you about this walk and about the life lessons that I learned while on this walk. I had moved about a year earlier from Crystal River to St. Petersburg. I had been here and I moved to St. Petersburg. I had left behind a lot of my spiritual family here for what I thought was going to be this new and exciting life in St. Petersburg. Whatever, yeah. Well, shortly after I moved there, I had 2 schnauzers, and both of my 4-legged babies, my furry children, crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And it was just within like 2 weeks of each other. One of them was 17 and one of them was 15. So they were aged fellows. Now understand that I'm a dog person. I probably like many of you who have pets, I grieved their passing. Yeah. I had always had dogs throughout my life, and I knew that it was only going to be a matter of time before I would have to get another dog. Well, when my furry children had transitioned, my partner of almost 20 years said that there's going to be no more pets in this house. And I thought, oh, so certainly he's kidding, Well, guess what? He wasn't. He really wasn't. I then brought my new rescue dog, Dale. Dale, I got him from SPCA. He was a 5-year-old Rottweiler Lab mix. He's a little different than the Schnauzers. He's a big boy. He was a dog in need, and at that point, I was a person in need. Yeah. My partner then said, I thought I said no more pets. Oh, maybe he was serious. Well, it was shortly after that, and the dogs weren't the only story there. It was shortly after that he made the statement, I want to move to California. So we just moved to St. Petersburg. My response was, I really don't want to move to California, in which he said, I'm not asking you. It is just me moving there. It was like, bam, Shazam, seriously. We had been together for almost 20 years, and then just all of a sudden, it ended without any explanation, without anything. I quickly then moved into a life all by myself. In my mind, I started down this path that I really didn't care to walk. I questioned all kinds of things about my personal existence. I questioned the 20 years of being together with this person. What had I done? And, I questioned everything. And then I walked a path of becoming an angry person. Angry at him, angry at what I thought was a life with someone that I thought was going to last forever, that came to this, abrupt end. And then I got angry at what I thought was going to be my future. I questioned, how could that inner spirit let this happen to me? I questioned my pace at that point in my spiritual community. But most of all, I questioned how I could have not seen this coming. I went to some dark places about myself. My belief in something that was supposed to keep me happy. I kind of lost a little bit about my spiritual path and what I was walking. But you know what? I knew I wanted it back, and I knew that I had to get back on that spiritual path. Simple as that. I recalled a movie starring Martin Sheen and his discovery in believing that some divine spirit had abandoned him, but yet brought him back after the death of his son while walking this Camino pilgrimage hike in Spain. Well, I scrambled to Netflix and I found the movie and I watched it again. I started examining all I could find out about that Camino walk. The El Camino de Santiago to Compostela became kind of a fascination for me at that point. And this is what I found out about the history, the background of that path. And I knew I was going to be desired and determined that I was going to discover myself on that path. So just a little bit of history about the significance of the Camino. The Apostle James, son of Zebedee, he journeyed to Spain to spread the gospel after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. At that point of time, all of the apostles kind of became fugitives. If it was modern days, their posters would be on the post office, FBI most wanted, at that point in history, and that's pretty similar. So James, who was the greater, as he was also known, he spent a number of years in Spain preaching the gospel. Then one day, he saw a vision of the Virgin Mary in the Ebro River. And that vision compelled him to take a path to return to Judea. This was about 44 CE, and upon his arrival in Judea, he was immediately captured, imprisoned, and then beheaded. Two of his traveling companion ministry entourage companions, they took his body, his headless body, wrapped it up, and they returned with it to Spain for safekeeping and burial. Now, let's move ahead 800 years to about around 880 CE. One night, a shepherd out in his fields who was tending his sheep, there appeared in the field this field of stars coming from a cave in the field. As he approached and entered the cave, the shepherd found the remains of a headless body with two companions on each side of this headless form, James and his two companions. The path they took assured the safekeeping of St. James, which immortalized him to this day in 2022. Thus was born the El Camino to Santiago to Compostela, the walk of St. James of the Field of Stars. That's the whole name of the thing. From this time forward, 880 CE, each year thousands and thousands of peregrines, or pilgrims, what we call them, from around the world walk across Europe. These paths take those spiritual hikers to the tomb of St. James in the city of Santiago to Compostela. A great cathedral was built over the cave that is considered to be the tomb of St. James in the bottom catacombs of this cathedral. This story fascinated me. I had to see if this path was what I needed to revive my spiritual self. I set out on my adventure. Part of the adventure was, I took a look at this story and I thought, metaphysically, kind of, what does this mean? And I found that night sky where the shepherd was kind of talks about the work that we do to understand our thoughts, the darkness of the night. And then suddenly the field of stars illuminate our consciousness and awakens our consciousness. Kind of that aha moment. And gives us that faith to see what is before us. Now, the sheep in the pasture represent life that flows from our consciousness. And the shepherd represents those protecting entities that watch over us in our thoughts. So that story was, I was getting some awakening of my consciousness, and I knew that I had to go there. The three remains that were found, James and his two companions, they are kind of our idea of the Trinity of mind, idea, and expression. Additionally, which just happened to be coincidence, James is the disciple that is represented by the power of wisdom. This month's power. Perfect. Power of wisdom. There are also elements of the walk that have metaphysical meaning. These are typically, and you saw it in some of my earlier pictures, the pictures of this shell and the yellow arrows and so forth. This is a symbol of the Camino, and it's yellow, wisdom. It's surrounded always by the color blue, which is faith. Wisdom and faith coming together for peace and harmony, and just knowing that some inner deep knowledge, I'm seeking it, and it's ours for the taking. And I was affirming that I was seeking that peace and harmony through my faith. The Camino was drawing me in. I did all of this research that I felt I needed. I realized there was no turning back. It was only going forward. The Camino is a path. Life is a path. The two merge into, your daily existence as you walk the 500 miles across northern Spain. The French way, which is the one I took, starts in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Pont, France, which is on the other side of the Pyrenees. I decided I was going to start on the other side of the Pyrenees in Pamplona. I knew my limits were. I wasn't about to cross over the mountains. So I knew my limits. My first challenge as I set out on my adventure was packing. I love clothes. And I learned that you can't hoard anything because you got to carry it on your back. All the way across those 500 miles on this path, And there's my backpack. I took the things that I needed solely for the walk. Nothing extravagant, no extras. One backpack with all the necessaries of the walk. Because you do carry everything on your back, you learn to pack lightly. It's no vacation where you take 3 suitcases with you, No, you don't do that. I packed 2 pairs of pants, the kind that the zippers, so the legs come off. If it was hot, if it's cold, you put them on. And 1 long sleeve shirt, 1 short sleeve shirt, hiking shoes, a fleece jacket, and a nylon jacket in case it rains, 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of underwears, and things, your toiletries that you need. And of course, I took my medications. Otherwise, they were going to find me on the trail somewhere, So anyway, and I took my Camino to Santiago book, which only lasted the first day. I took some special objects too, and I carry it with me anytime I'm doing something outside the box, which today this is kind of outside my box. This is a special object that Reverend Marcia, my dear Reverend Marcia, gave to me, and it has on it 3 charms that say hope, love, and faith. And that's all I needed to travel. That's all I needed to journey. I took my Camino shell. You got one today, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And I took my walking stick, which, incidentally, this was a signal. The first day, I tripped and fell and broke it. And that's an honest truth. And it broke it. So, and I kind of took that as a sign. It's like, maybe I don't need a crutch to walk with. I can do it on these 2 feet. So, I made arrangements as I walked this path to stay in these places called paradors. Now, paradors, they were once abandoned nunneries or friaries or some other kind of religious institution that were no longer supported by the community. And it was interesting because the Spanish government took these abandoned buildings and turned them into housing for us peregrines, the pilgrims, as they walked the trail. So you got this you were totally encompassed in kind of these spiritual kind of places and things. I was ready to go then. I was ready. I was ready to conquer my spiritual path across Spain. Here I am the first day. Look how nice and relaxed and I look. That lasted the first day. First day was very quiet for me. And, I walked alone, just taking in the surroundings. Your beginnings of walks were mainly in less populated areas. After that first day, those of you know me about my thing about divine order. It kind of got discombobulated a little bit. After the first day, I put away that book. I put away all this research stuff that I had, and I decided that the path was just much more than an adventure. I kind of had, just like life, I had to kind of follow its lead. I was rediscovering that I was part of some big, wonderful universe out there, all by myself in a land that I didn't speak the language. I didn't know anybody. I was by myself. I had to put my faith and trust into what I was doing as I searched my path. I learned that you must examine what the universe has given you in front of you. The trees, the plants, the people on the trail. There is nothing like getting to the top of a hill and looking down into the path ahead and seeing these beautiful fields of red poppies, or a path ahead of you, and to see little tiny ant-like people as they're walking on the path ahead of you. The excitement of walking along the path and just seeing a farmer with his herd of cows, walking along the path with you as he moves them from, a field to a pasture. I mean, that's the closest I've ever been to cows, really. And the people, wonderful people. Everyone you passed on the path, and the people in the small villages that you came to, they were just caring, giving, thoughtful. I felt in each and every one that namaste, I saw the light in them because of the light in me. And every person I encountered awakened me, my spiritual path. And everyone you passed or saw greeted with you, buen camino, means good walk. That was kind of a signal on the walk. Good walk. At first, I set out for what I thought was to be this kind of daily path. My divine order kind of tried to take over and said, I had to decide, set my pace, how I was going to feel that day, how I was thinking. I had to felt that I had to control everything that I approached to begin the day and to how I was going to walk that day. I felt I had to be in control of every aspect of my walk. I just didn't want to let go and let it happen. But I soon discovered that spirit is best to take control. That path was changing me. You see so many wonderful things like this along the way. I had to let go of the idea of controlling everything. So I changed my routine. Each day began with taking a deep breath and just my consciousness, setting it to the task at hand and what I was gonna feel that day, how I was gonna enjoy the day. You step out into the past and you just take in the beauty of the life and trail itself. And each night, I ended the day with a sense of satisfaction, knowing that tomorrow was going to be filled with excitement, adventure, and most importantly, discovery laid out by what my indwelling spirit wanted me to discover about myself and the love that I desired so much about myself. Notice I don't look as quite as fresh along the way. These are part of the mountains that I did have to cross through and so forth. This path takes you, the pictures that I said earlier with the song, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. The paths on the walk were like the paths of my life or our life. As you walked along the trail each day, covered miles and miles of the Spanish countryside, I discovered that I had 3 types of paths that I followed on the trail. And then I soon discovered that these same 3 paths are much like the paths that we follow in life. Back. I didn't panic. First of all, there's a lot of these flat, smooth paths. When you walk these paths there's less of a struggle. There's less issues as you walk. There's less challenge. These paths give you the opportunity to just stop, look, think about your surroundings. I like these paths the best believe me. These paths on the Camino are the ones that which I am most grateful, and not only there, but in my life. I soon discovered these paths were most pleasant when you allowed them to happen just like life. I usually slowed down when I found the Camino paths to be these flat, smooth paths. I often found myself out in the countryside, walking either through areas filled with fields or treed paths with slight breezes. When I'm on these paths, I just kept thinking just how wonderful this path was and just how wonderful my life really was. The fields of red poppies, flat land in which you notice, back in the way over there, the snow-capped mountains, just the beauty of them. Because you walk in so many unpopulated areas for long periods of time, you take in all of the beauty that surrounds you, and there is so much beauty in what you have that's been created there before you. Not only on the path, but in our lives. Stop sometime and just look at your surroundings. Just stop and breathe and look at your surroundings. Notice the small things. I remember walking the trail, noticing, I went in April, May, and it was just the end of their winter, and spring was coming in, and I noticed, a lot of these dead plants, but there were little green growths starting up. Just like we awaken each morning, let's renew. Let's just be awake each day and sprout like those little plants. I noticed all these things. There was one really special time. I remember walking this flat, smooth path. I walked through this enormous eucalyptus forest. Oh, what a beautiful and fragrant aroma that really opened your senses. And I thought, we need to listen to our senses. We need to see and smell and hear and taste and whatever, everything in life. We need to take in there, And then there were these wonderful bridges. And these bridges spoke to me that walking across these bridges that crisscross many of the rivers in which the towns were built, because that's how they moved around, they were like inviting you. It was just saying, come in, come on in. So much of the Camino was this smooth, flat type of path. You learn to rediscover all the beauty that exists and the beauty that exists within you as you stop and you see what creation has laid out before you. Then there were the churches. Now, while you're walking the paths, and like I said, you're out in the countryside, very unpopulated person, and you'd see off in the distance these small villages. But you always noticed at every small village there was a church in the center of each village that was a little bit higher than the homes that were built around it. You would see this, and you said, just sitting there, and all you could think about was, when I came so many times upon places like this, that our lives too centered around our spiritual life, just like these little villages centered around their churches. Everything that tells us the Spirit is the center of our creation, rising up and elevating us to our higher consciousness. But not all the walk were these easy, smooth paths. There were the mountainous paths. These were the most difficult. You had to move slower, you had to keep a slower pace, you had to think about what you were doing. There was more of a risk as you moved forward. Just like in life, these paths give us the greatest challenge. These paths were the most challenging to me. Life gives us challenges all the time. It is up to us how we face those challenges. It was the same way on the Camino. The path became like life itself. I had a challenge there. I had to move through it. I get my consciousness in the mindset of one step forward, and then the next, and then the next, and so forth, just like we do in life. It gets us through and you know what? I got through those paths just by taking that one step at a time. I realize that that is how we have to look at the challenges we face each day. You take it on, you move one step at a time, and eventually it subsides, and it becomes that flat, smooth path on the walk, and it happens just like life. You know, there was one point in it where you come to the mountains in the northern part of the walk. You know, the most difficult part of the walk was up this twisting path up the side of a mountain to an area called Osobrero, which was the highest point in Spain on the walk. This path kind of turned out to be a special time for me. While walking up this rocky path, you know, I think the day before it had rained and it washed away some of the path, and a lot of the big boulders were loose and so forth. And I'm walking along, you know, I twisted my knee. You know, here I am on the side of, you know, it's like, okay, I'm here by myself, and I don't speak the language, and you know, so it's like, and being a theater, I'm a theater person. Being a theater person, all I could think about was Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. I've got to depend on the kindness of my friends. And it turned out. You know, this was this wonderful example of kindness, you know, that I think that I've ever experienced. You know, as I was kind of hobbling along, there came upon me two sisters of a certain age. They were probably 10 years or more older than I. I mean, they were walking, they were twin sisters walking the Camino by themselves, and they stopped and checked on me, and I explained to them what happened. You know, one of them said, well, we'll walk with you till we reach the top. The one sister took off a knee brace that she was wearing, and she gave it to me and helped me put it on. You know, that thing helped me so much at that point. We walked together for several miles until we reached the top of the path, near the top of the mountain trail. We did finally reach the top, and I sat down to eat a bite of food, and they went on, and I gave her back her brace, and they went on, you know. My faith in humanity was restored just at that moment and that situation, knowing that shouldn't we all be like that every day? Shouldn't we be like that every day? You know, and I continued on then to my lodging for the night. You know, miraculously in the morning, I was fine. That's what life is about. In times of need, we embrace the opportunity to reach out and take another's hand as we walk together on our paths. Both of these rough trails had high points, and at each one of the high points, there were these crosses. Now, if you notice in the picture earlier there, I had two rocks along with me. One of the rocks, the first rock, when you reach the first cross, which is the one on the right, you leave your rock at that cross that you brought with you from home. Your prayer with that rock is to give something of yourself with that rock, of which your intention is for walking the Camino. I did mine, put it there. Then the second cross on the left, that was at the top of Osobrero. It's called the Cruz de Ferro, the Iron Cross. You leave the second rock there, and it represents something that you are releasing as you completed the walk. And then from this point on, from Osobrero, you're beginning to descend the path down into Santiago de Compostela and the Cathedral of St. James. You know, there was a third type of path, just like life, you know, kind of in between. I just called them intermediate paths. You know, they're not quite difficult, they're not quite smooth, they're not quite rocky, they're less risky, you know, so forth. You know, there's a little bit of challenge there, but not much. These paths on the Camino are like the paths of our life. You know, between those better times, those good times, and maybe the not so good times, we have small challenges. These paths are neither difficult or challenged, nor were there any less risk, but they weren't the hills or the mountains. They weren't the small paths either, smooth paths. On these trails, I found myself just walking and thinking and contemplating things. These paths were often the paths that led you into the small villages where you found your center, in the spiritual center of the village. You contemplate your place in the world and in your world. You just kind of chill out and enjoy time with yourself. Every once in a while, you have a small rise in the path, but it's no big deal. You just get comfortable with yourself. That's your path at the moment. And then I arrived at the cathedral at Santiago de Compostela. And there I am. A little thinner. There's a final path, though, that I decided to take on the Camino, and it's to travel to a place called Finisterre. Now, Finisterre, here it is translated as the end of the world. It's named from the end of the world of the Roman Empire. That's where the Roman Empire ended in ancient times, the end of the world. And it is literally the end of the world. And there was a special place. Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but you travel to the Finisterre and you take your hiking shoes with you. And there's a place on the cliffs as you look over the Atlantic Ocean, and you burn your shoes that have traveled with you across this spiritual path, finding and indicating your final release of anything that you brought with you that you no longer wish to carry with you. And then you return home. You return home to this new person, to this smooth person. You know, it's taken me really 4 years to really talk about my experience with walking the Camino. It was a very challenging time in my life, but it was a time in which I grew so much, and I can say as a person of wisdom and faith, you know, so get on your path. Find your pace. Take on your challenges. See the beauty in the world around you. Know that you create your own existence. Walk the path that brings you the greatest creation to what you want that to be in your life. You know, Psalm 27 verse 11 says, "Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path." You know, when you came in today, you got a Camino shell. This is the cross of St. James. I want you to take, and you can put it in your purse, you can put it in your wallet, you can put it in your pocket, whatever. And I want you to take this with you, and I want you to take this shell, and I want you to walk a path that is your best spiritual self. Find that. Stay on the path to self-discovery and walk the path that is you. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're done. So thank you. We're going to take a moment here for a little bit of meditative music, and we're going to move into our own meditation path in our meditation. So just take a moment here.
Peace be still, the presence calls us, in our hearts we join as one. Peace be still, and in this moment let Spirit's will be done. Now we come, prepared to hear you, daily word as daily bread, that will strengthen and sustain us today and days ahead. Jesus calls us. In our hearts we join as one. Peace be still, and in this moment let Spirit's will be done.
So let's just get comfortable in our seats and gently close our eyes. Ground yourself with your feet flat on the ground. Bring your awareness to your senses. Allow the distractions of the outside world to kind of just fade into your background. Bring your consciousness to your breath. Take a deep breath, inhale, and then release with a soft sigh. Come into the stillness. And as you come to the stillness, I want you to think of something that you want to release. Just let's take a moment in silence just to release something that you're carrying in your backpack. Just let it flick it away. Just flick it away. And then I want you to place in your backpack, set an intention that you're going to take care of as you walk on your path today. Step forward and open the door that is right there before you. Now step out onto the smooth, flat path that's before you. As you step out there, feel the warmth of the sun as it comes down and saturates you with its light. Feel that light hit your face. See the path before you. Take a step onto the path and just casually and slowly walk. Feel the softness of the sand and the soil beneath your feet. Notice the lack of effort it takes to walk on this flat, smooth path of life. There's no challenge to walk this path. Just enjoy what you are seeing or smelling or hearing as you slowly walk your spiritual path of life. Now I want you just to pause for a moment on your walk. Look out into the distance and see the snow-capped mountains. See those clouds that encircle the summits of those mountains that have covered with snow. Just like life, keep your challenges at a distance. Now bring your focus in a little closer to where you're standing, and off in the distance you notice some fields of green. Experience the newness of the growth in that field, knowing that it's bringing new life into existence, just like you bring a new life into existence each day. The shimmer of the green, as the wind gently blows across the field. And nearby this field of green, you notice a small stream between you and this field, and it's in the distance. You see the small white caps of the water as it tumbles across the rocks in the stream, just like occasionally we have these little bumps in our life. Let your thoughts tumble across the rocks as your consciousness brings only the smooth, mirror-like images of the stream as it flows away. Now off to your left, notice the red poppies that are growing wild along the path near you. These red poppies represent the beauty and the joy and the happiness in your life. Just take a moment here in this silence to enjoy their beauty just like you enjoy the beauty of life. Now, as you continue to pause for just a few more seconds, you are just like these things in your life. You are enough because you matter. Everything that is you, everything that is before you, is you. As you move on, slowly you feel the slight breeze of the cool, gentle wind caressing you on the path. Let life embrace you like this breeze. Feel it. Now you come to a spot on the path where there's this rock wall. Go ahead. Walk over to it. Gently sit on this rock wall. And you notice at your feet a stone that has fallen from the wall. Bend over. Pick up that stone. I want you to set that stone on the wall next to you as if you're releasing something that is not to your best. Just let it go. Just let it go. Release it. Now as you look up, you see off in the distance a small village. The small houses in the village encircle the church. That church building represents your higher consciousness. Everything exists around your higher consciousness. Your life is that village. You are that church building. Just like this path, you are living a bold and spiritual life under the premise of your I am. Your nature is one with God. You champion the goodness within yourself and within each person and thing you encounter. You derive your sense of direction from the source of life, love, and wisdom. You uphold the world, all beings, and all intentions in the light of magnificent possibilities. I want you to stand up from your seat on the wall. And I want you to begin to slowly return to your door and to the life that existed inside that door. As you return, remember your path. Remember what your path is about being you. You are the way. You are the truth. You are the life. Now let's come back here and let's open our eyes and I want you to go forward and be the light that you are and walk that path. And so it is. Namaste.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Gary, I have a question for you. How long did it take you to do that walk?
I actually did it for about 3 weeks.
Oh,
There
okay.
were parts that I didn't walk because I knew it was a little more challenging.
Right.
So there was like probably a few miles here and there that I took a taxi. I cheated. I found out beforehand which ones that I didn't want to walk.
Okay.
But yeah, it was pretty much the entire thing.
That was a wonderful message.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, now it's time in our service where we take a journey and we share our gratitude. And we give thanks for all the abundance we receive that makes it possible for us and for Unity to do the work that we are asked to do. We have many outreach programs from the church that sort of stay quiet, we're really not aware of. We need volunteers, and so I am pushing that. So you can always talk to someone in the office if you'd like to find out what's available for you and be part of our journey. So I ask you to take your offering in your hands and let's say our blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I send forth this gift, my blessings and my love. So, a little prayer here. Divine Spirit, we thank you for this offering. We know it's given in love and received in love. And it moves through this ministry with the energy of divine love and divine wisdom and out into the world as good. That each giver is blessed, for this is the law, and so it is. Thank you, God. Now let us affirm our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. This is a beautiful day in our neighborhood, so enjoy it.
First of all, our high prayer chaplains are with us today, so when you leave service today, if you feel the need for a prayer, you can see either Lisa or Bonnie. Barbie called at the last minute, she's not here, but prayer chaplains, raise your hands who are here. Okay, any of these people can do a prayer with you if you're interested, so see them. So let's talk about the announcements. First of all, you know, each Sunday you're welcome here by these smiling faces of the greeters at the front door and who welcome you into our spiritual home. And then you walk down the hall and you're welcomed into the sanctuary by our joyous ushers. Why not join this team? It is a wonderful way to share your talents and meet all you fantastic people here at Unity of Citrus County. So will be a mandatory meeting this Friday from 10:30 to 12. But if you're interested or you want any more details, see Arbeth out in the lobby there. He'll give you all the details and sign up to become an usher. Again, like Mary said, we always welcome volunteers. If you are interested in receiving, the sacred service of a prayer chaplain, please either see me or one of the prayer chaplains and help us complete a prayer chaplain request for you. Like I said, we're always ready to pray for you. So Easter season is quickly approaching. Next Sunday is Palm Sunday celebration service, and that service begins at 10:30. The following Friday will be the Good Friday special service on April 15th, beginning at 6 p.m. That will be a Seder Passover meal presentation. There will be a presentation of the last 7 words. There will also be a release ceremony. So join us then. And then on the 17th, we're having an Easter outdoor sunrise service at 6:30 on April 17th. And then our regular Sunday Easter celebration service at 10:30. So, if you're interested, in the cafe after service, we're having corned beef and cabbage donated by I want to say Cheryl. Carol, I had the first letter. Carol. So go and join some corned beef and cabbage in the cafe. Do we have any children? I don't see any. So let us just rise and let us share the peace song. Let there be peace on earth. I'm going to come to you. Thank you, everyone, for being. Just real quick, Jimmy's looking at something for the men's group. If you want information, Jimmy will get it to you, give it to you. So hunt down Jimmy. Jimmy, raise your hand. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take your Camino shell. I want you to walk your path. Thank you all for being here with us today. Thank you.